Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today I'm going to be reviewing this Marvel Legends 2-pack of the Mandarin and Extremis Armor Iron Man. I've had this 2-pack for a little bit, and I've already done an unboxing video, but today we're going to be going over my final thoughts, showing off some pictures, and just going over the figures in a little bit more depth. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, getting a closer look here at Mandarin. You can see this is the pretty standard Marvel Legends suited body, but it is on the pinless version that we saw with Matt Murdock not that long ago. So he is a rather sturdy suited figure, but I know this isn't the version of the Mandarin that people were really wanting. This overcoat jacket combo is a new piece along with this tie. I thought maybe it was reused from the comic J. Jonah Jameson, but it is not. And then aside from that, it's just the heads and the hands that are new. So you can see this head, it's looking pretty good. No real color variation in the hair, but I think the face deco looks really good for the Mandarin here. I want to zoom in and take a look at the 10 rings because I really like that they went this detailed with them. I remember in my unboxing video, I showed off a picture of what all the 10 rings do and how each one of them is unique. So I like that they made them all unique here on the figure. Like they just gave each one that little bit of uniqueness for the figure. So I guess that's getting into the accessories. So yeah, he's got those two 10 ring hands. Now these came standard on the figure, but they are just, relaxed, kind of gripping hand here, relaxed hand here. I didn't use these in any of the photos, and they seem kind of small for the figure, or I guess compared to the other set of hands that I'm about to show. So they're nice that they included them, but I didn't use them for anything. But then we have these kind of claw, gnarled nail hands that are pretty nice. Oh, I think we're already seeing these reused on the owl figure that got announced recently, so they look really good. I would have liked to have seen the rings on these as well. I know that's not accurate to the story that this is based on, but just to give it, a little bit more options. I don't know. When I think of the Mandarin, I think these long nails, but I don't think it's bad that they didn't put the rings on these. These are still solid hands, and I understand why they didn't because of the reuse. And then we get this alternate head, which is old and kind of screaming. This is what the long nail hands go with, because in the story the rings are actually like in his spine or something. I haven't read the series. I added it to my read in 2026 list, so I will have full context for this eventually, but just right now I don't know the full details of that story. But solid painted head. This actually does have color variation in the hair. You can see the gray on the white. Looks pretty good. I don't know where that fleck of red came from, but I will most likely not be using this on my figure, but I do appreciate the option. Then last but kind of least, we get these power effects that we have seen a million times. They've got a gradient from a pink to red. They're fine. I would have liked to have seen other effects, but, I get it. So now let's go over the articulation. The head is on a ball and hinge, so he can look down that much. Can look up that much. Hair is going to get in the way, but he still can look up. He gets some rotation side to side, of course, and he gets a tiny bit of pivot. Arms go up at that high, and they do go down, full 360, biceps swivel, double jointed elbows, going that far. All of the hands hinge down and up, like so. He does have an ab crunch, so he can crunch forward that far, not back very far. He's got a waist swivel, hips that can go out that far if you really move out the jacket. Can kick forward. And he has a thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees. He's not going to be able to kick his own butt just because of the way the knee is and the coat. And then down here at the foot, you can get the foot pointing down that far, up a bit, and he does have ankle pivot. And I think it does have a swivel up at the top of the ball here at the ankle, so you can rotate it that way. So what are my final thoughts on Mandarin? So Mandarin is one that I know they're not really controversy, but a lot of people want their classic Mind's Eye version of Mandarin. And if you've been in the community long enough, we've had like discussions in different groups and, live streams. Plenty of people have discussed this to death. And we all figured we would get this Tuxedo Mandarin first. It's a reused body, and it's a look that they can make pretty quickly. And, it's always been up in the air whether they can make a Mandarin to begin with, but the fact that we got this, it's a sign that we can get other Mandarins, I hope. But they did the easiest one first. And if that kind of bothers you, I understand to a point, but for me, I was always comfortable with getting this Tuxedo Mandarin and a classic Mandarin for my collection. I have spots for both, so whatever one they ended up doing would have been fine with me. The only version of Mandarin I wasn't going to buy would be the animated series one, just because I have no connection to that show, and it's a very different design. So I'm very happy to have this. Just the character in general and the look is okay. I like the extra mile that they went with sculpting the 10 rings and painting them. I really appreciate that. The old head and the gnarled kind of hands are nice. Where this figure kind of lacks is the effects. These wrap-around wrist effects are fine, but they don't really represent his powers very well. I believe in a photo that you might be seeing or have already seen in this little collage, I stole the effects or an effect from the Crystal figure from the Inhumans, because the Mandarin's powers are varied. Like, he has a ring that does electricity, one that does fire, one that does ice, I think. So it would have been a great opportunity to either reuse those effects from Crystal or make new effects that represented his powers better. We've got that Iceman coming up from the Secret Wars line. That ice effect that he has might be great for this Mandarin. So I think the effects, while I guess I appreciate the effort of even putting them in, they don't reflect the figure very well, or his power set. That's probably my biggest complaint with this figure. Does he have the fun factor? Shockingly, yes. I took a lot of photos and was having a good time when I picked him up to really pose him around, and he poses well, pretty sturdy. It's on the new suited body, so I really do appreciate that. So yes, on the fun factor. And then for a final rating, I'm going to give him 7 out of 10. He's a decent figure on his own. It could have been really brought to an 8, maybe even a 9 if we got some really good effects. I think that's my biggest hang-up. I just can't get over the fact that we don't have good effects for him. So if this suited look isn't for you, then I can't say I recommend it. If you do not like that they gave us a suited look, then you're probably not going to have a good time. But for me, who always wanted the suited look along with a classic look, I think it's great. Alright, now moving on to the Extremis Armor Iron Man. Now, normally for reviews, I don't do the comparisons, but I did just want to bring in the old Extremis Armor Iron Man so you can see the difference in color. And we can see the difference. The main difference between these two figures is the torso. This one has more articulation points and more new articulation styling than this guy did. So there's just that quick comparison. But I do really like the colors chosen here. It's less metallic, but still metallic-y. And I really like the kind of mustard gold that we've got going on here. The arc reactor even has a little bit of a fade deco to it. You can go down. The eyes have that mustard gold. Not a ton of paint detailing throughout this figure. I think really it's just the arc reactor, the face, and the biceps that have the paint to them. Hands don't have any paint. But I still think it looks good. I think it's well molded in the colors that it has. And yeah, you can see the nice bright white in these eyes. It's pretty solid. So really the main talking points now are just the new articulation. So let's go over the accessories really quickly. He's got a set of fists, reused from the previous figure. And then he has a set of hands that do have some deco on them. They've got like reflecting the energy blasts, I guess. It's just kind of reflected off the hands. But you can see that, and they are blast effect compatible because he does come with some blast effects. These are ones we've seen for a little bit now. They're not the original Iron Man blast effects, but they are ones that have come out recently. It's got a gradient from like a white to a kind of yellow, and they do have a little bit of like kind of glitter metallic color to them, so that is nice. And then the last accessory is a Tony Stark head that looks like he's just kind of unmasked. It's got that nice face stock cover over it. Looks pretty good. I would love to get a modern Tony Stark figure at some point down the line, whether if it's in like a suit, an undersuit like this for the armor, or in a business suit where he's, looks more modern. I know we've gotten a lot of classic heads. The more modern Iron Man head that we have came with the Invincible Armor Iron Man back in 2017? Black Panther movie wave? I can't remember. So I would like to see, with this new face deco tech, a more modern Iron or Tony Stark head or body or figure in general. So let me quit rambling there. And let's go over the articulation, the new points on this guy. So the head has a ball and a ball hinge on it. So you can see he can look very far up, like so. And he can look pretty far down, as you can see. And then, of course, he can look side to side. Now, you have to really grab at the base, but you can rotate the neck at the base as well, so you can get a better angle like that, as you can see there. At the shoulders here, he has the kind of ball pin system. So there's a ball plugged into the torso. There's a cover piece here that acts like the butterfly joint, and then the pin goes all the way into the shoulder, so he can get forward, back, up and down range. You can shift him like this for neutral position to have the armor plate or the shoulder armor pointed up, or you can kind of make it smoother and kind of shift it downwards. You can bring it in forward so you get that range, and bring it pretty far back as well. And this shoulder piece is rubber, so it does get out of the way. But speaking of that, arms can go up that high and do a full 360. Even with all that, the shoulder piece is actually glued onto this side here, not on the ring system that we usually see for the shoulder pad like this. Got bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, and then all of the hands hinge, if I can get the right angle, there, down and up like so. Then here at the torso, we have a diaphragm cut here and an lower ab crunch here. So with the diaphragm cut, he can rotate, he can get some pivot like so, and then he can go back that far. Gets slightly gappy, but not too bad. And then he can go forward a little bit, but then you add in the ab crunch going back. And now I wish it had a better click system, because you can push it this far back, but it won't stay. It'll always kind of bounce back to this position. And then if you go forward, you can push it this far, but it'll always bounce back to this position. So I wish the actual ratchet in there was a bit better, but that is some good range. These little discs get out of the way, and you can bring the hips out that far. Can kick forward. He's got a thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees. Can kick his lower back. He can't kick his butt though. And then the feet do hinge down. They do hinge up, and he does have ankle pivot. So what are my final thoughts on this upgraded Iron Man Extremis armor? Now, not my most needed update in the collection. As I showed, I have the previous version of this armor. I was very happy with that figure. It didn't necessarily need this update, but I will take it because they implemented some really good articulation points and somehow made a great figure even better. I like the updated deco, like the color choices for the armor. I really like those that they changed. I like the more mustardy gold. It fits for an Iron Man, especially in this kind of era, very well. The new articulation points are excellent. I appreciate the alternate Tony Stark head. What I'll probably do is put that alternate head on the previous Extremis armor and then use this new figure as my main Extremis armor. So, all in all, I'm very happy with this figure. I think the biggest letdown of all the new is the lower ab crunch not having that extra click on both ends to really lock in that range of articulation. Does he have the fun factor? Oh yeah. The first figure was fun. Adding in more articulation made this guy even better. So yes, he does have the fun factor. Then for a final rating, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I would have given him a 9 out of 10 if that lower ab crunch could click in further. But otherwise, I think it's still a solid figure. And if you can get this 2-pack, you are it's a lot of bang for your buck if you are willing to have that version of Mandarin in your collection. All right, and that was my review of the Mandarin and Iron Man Extremis Armor 2-pack from Amazon. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree with my thoughts? Let me know all the things. And while you're down there, make sure you are liking the video and are subscribed. And with all of that, I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.